Hello, 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 Facebook family, YouTube family. Welcome to Becoming Life After Divorce. If you are new to my page, YouTube page, Facebook page, welcome. I am Kimberly Cleveland, the Good Thing Guru. I help people as a relationship coach, life coach, those who are really intentional about wanting to prepare for marriage, and I have developed this new series. I first launched it as a group coaching session to be intentional about helping women just like myself who were once married and had gone through a divorce, right? How do they go about rebuilding after divorce? And so that's what this series mission is to really help women pick up the pieces, making sure that they rebuild their life, stepping boldly into their future, and helping them to thrive. And so we have kicked this series off. Tonight is episode 3. I'm super, super excited about the young lady who we'll have on this evening to be able to share her wisdom and her gems and her re-season. If you've been following, that's really what this is about: releasing the pain, rediscovering who you are, the tools on how to begin to rebuild your life, reigniting the passion within. And so I'm really excited. I know those who watch are going to be blessed. Those who have either recently gone through a divorce, getting ready to go through a divorce, we have some information and tools that is really going to help you to thrive in this new season of your life. So I'm going to hop right on into it and introduce our speaker who's going to be having a conversation with us tonight. I'm going to bring her on into the studio. Tonight, we want to welcome Tajala Battle. She is a dynamic entrepreneur, educator, community leader, and empowerment advocate whose life's mission is to help others rebuild, reimagine, and rise beyond life's challenges. After navigating her own transformative journey following a 23-year marriage, Tajala embraced her re-season, a season of renewal, restoration, and rediscovery. As the CEO of Taj Consultant and Events, she's the founder of Phenomenal Women and multi-best-selling author. She's also a licensed real estate agent. She blends her expertise in education and business and community leadership to inspire others to reclaim their power, reignite their passion, and step boldly into the next chapter. Hey, Taj, how's it going?
Hey sis, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So excited about your yes to be a part of this series. Like I said last week, you really coined that phrase "re-season," and that's all of what we're about in this season, in this webinar series about becoming life after divorce. And so we're going to hop right on into it tonight. Give us a little bit of background. I know we mentioned it in your bio about your journey following a 23-year marriage. Tell us a little bit about your journey, and then we'll get into where you are right now.
Oh wow. My marriage journey started when I was around 30 years old. I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had met my husband at work.
Okay.
We met at the Marriott Marquis in Atlanta. um, and we started out as friends, and he had got a job offer, and that's what led us to the DMV area. And since we were here, we had one daughter.
Mhm.
um,
Wonderful.
yeah, one beautiful daughter, successful, one beautiful daughter. We lost our first child.
Okay.
Um, and we went on the journey for 23 years, and now we're here. We're here. I've been on the journey of, I started this journey in 2021,
Okay.
and officially finalized divorce 2 years after.
Okay.
I've been by myself for almost 4 years in November. So it's been quite a journey on the other side of life after divorce. Yes.
All righty. And that's really why I wanted to have you on, because I know you've got, like I said, some wisdom, some nuggets about how to relaunch, right? How to really rebuild your life after this season, coming out of divorce, entering into the new season, the re-season, as you call it, the renewal, the restoration, the rediscovery, much like myself. Um, so let's start off. I always like to start off about talking about releasing the pain, right? I know for me, after I've been married twice, especially after the second divorce, it really hit me hard. You know, no one goes into the marriage. I definitely did not go into marriage thinking that I was going to go through a divorce, you let alone two divorces, right? And so when that second divorce came along, it really hit me hard. I fell into a deep, deep depression, um, you know, deep sadness. Really self-esteem was hit. Like, what am I doing wrong? You know, obviously there's something, right? And so I really had to, you know, take a deep breath and kind of step back and do some evaluation, right? And reassess. But the first thing for me was that healing journey, that I knew that with this newborn child that I had, that I didn't want to become that bitter woman, right? I did not want that this divorce to affect this child we now were raising, right? And that there was also a grief that I was going through. You know, when you talk about the emotions that I was feeling, there was a grief of, you know, losing the marriage, losing that two-parent home that I thought my child was going to be raised in. And what was this new season for us going to look like, me as a single mom now, right? And so there was a lot of different emotions, but I knew I needed to quickly figure out how this healing journey was going to be, right? Because I did not want to be that bitter woman. What type of emotions were you feeling as a result of this 23-year marriage ending, Taj?
Wow. What emotion that did I not feel? you know, every emotion that you could feel, I felt. Um, because I was in it to stay. I wasn't planning to go on anywhere. I was hoping not to go anywhere. And I made a promise before God that because we did it in front of God and said we was going to do this thing, and I wanted to do all the things, to ensure I did everything right. Before I did anything wrong in my mind, anything wrong. However, the emotions was just, can I do this? Like now that I'm on the other side, can I do this? I've never been by myself. 23 years with one person. Even before that, I was on my own, but 23 years with one person that that's tough. So you're telling me now I've made this. Now it's my decision. Let's be clear. This was my decision. Um, Telling me, I'm telling myself that, I need to make the decision that I made, and how can I do it, especially alone, because I'm an only child and my mom is deceased and have been since 2012. I've never known my father, so I don't have anybody to go to. I have no go-tos. I have cousins and stuff, but you know what I'm talking about. Immediate family that everybody has is close to, that helps when things go down.
Right. That's
Terrified.
important.
Yeah, I was terrified. Then let's be clear. I'm not as terrified,
Right.
but there's always like this sense of fear because it's new. I've always been by myself as an only child, but this is a different kind of by yourself.
Right.
By yourself as no mom, by yourself as no dad, not by yourself as no husband anymore. All the things, and then the other part, the emotions. My daughter decided to hang out at the house, the only home that she knew, with her
Mhm.
dad. So by myself and don't have my baby either. So those emotions were all over the place.
Right.
And all
Right.
over the place. And alone is all I felt at that
Right.
moment.
Right. Well, how did you go about being intentional about addressing, and what did your healing journey look like for you?
Wow. Very intentional in regards to what I know I needed to do. So not only did I make the decision to divorce from my marriage, I made during that same time I made a decision to shut down all my businesses and put those on pause. I was an elected official at the time as well. I decided not to run for reelection, something I was really, really excited and passionate about. So I put everything. When I say I shut everything down, cut off all my titles, I shut all my titles down and intentionally started in order. Spiritually, I went deeper because I've always been connected to my faith, but I went deeper spiritually. And then the next phase of my healing journey, I went on a health journey because I had pre-diabetes, I had high blood pressure and cholesterol, and I was did not want to go in the phase of adding the third the diabetes. So I was intentional on my journey. So my first part of my journey was my spiritual journey, and I did grief counseling. And grief counseling was major part of my clarity and clearing, for me to really understand kind of the decision that I made and where I'm going to go from here. And it allowed me to understand things on levels that I never could imagine. Um, Grief counseling taught me that and allowed me to understand that it wasn't just me grieving the divorce. I was grieving things I had not ever grieved before. Loss of people. Like I've lost tons of family members, but I didn't grieve them properly. Because I was so busy being all the titles and all the things to everybody else, and I never stopped and paused for myself. So that was very impactful, even in the journey of going through grief counseling. It was a Christian based counseling, and I saw words differently, so different. Like that, even in the journey where we always say, "Oh, we lost our mom, we lost this, and then we lost that." In the grief journey, it talks, "Well, you didn't lose them. We know where they are." And that was my biggest light bulb moment in the session, as the first weeks of the session. And it just started allowing me to, when you're in a space by yourself, you hear differently. Everything is clear because it's so quiet.
Yes.
So it started with loss. It started with some other words, and it started with some other things, which is what led me obviously to the re-season.
Mm-hmm.
Because all things I didn't realize how many positive words started with re, and I was like, okay. And it's actually, I should have brought it in here so you guys could see it. I actually had those big post-it notes on my
Mm.
wall, and I wrote all the first set of re words that I wanted to focus on for myself: reset, realign, reconnect, whatever I could think of at that moment in time that I felt I needed with those set of words. And each, day in my life, each week in my life, each month in my life, I am introduced to a new reword. With the health journey, I was introduced to remission, to myself.
Mm.
Lo and behold, God blessed me with a whole remission coach, and I didn't even know that's what her title was when I asked her to help me with my health.
Wow.
So on this journey, it's just been amazing how, you know, because I've allowed myself the space and clarity to remove and make capacity for me to understand,
Yeah.
what I really need to hear, what the downloads that I need for me to be healthy in all of those areas. It's truly been a blessing. Even to that today, as I shared with you before we came on, is I didn't even know this had your 8 rewords.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't ask to be here. You invited me here, and
Yeah.
I'm open to listening when God calls and He said it's time. It's almost been 4 years. It's time, for me to share, because somebody else out there, and it's so interesting. I didn't share this with you yet, but as I have phenomenal young women, the phone ring for phenomenal young women today. It was a lady looking to donate supplies to the school system, and we got to talking for a while. Lo and behold, she's actually going to court tomorrow
Wow.
for a divorce case to finalize the marital property.
Wow.
So it's just, timing. Time is all.
Divine alignment.
Yes. Yeah. So that's been how I've been working towards healing. Healing is a journey. As you know, we both are part of Real Women. And
Hmm.
one of the intensives was a eye opener for me. Is where I believe it was Sherry that said,
Hmm.
and one of her quotes says, healing is a journey, and you have to allow yourself to sometimes jump off and
Hmm.
take a break from the healing journey because it never ends.
Exactly.
It can carry as much weight as anything else can if you just keep trying to think it's gonna fix something, and it
Right.
never really gets fixed because you always introduced to a new thing that you need to be healed from.
Right. Oh, that is so good. I like how you said you were very intentional about your healing journey and you really broke it down in terms of spiritually, health wise. I'm sure it was also emotionally, right? Mentally. Um, and that I think is really a key step when we're talking about people who really want to rebuild themselves after a divorce, is that you're intentional about focusing in, just like when you start off the new year and you're thinking about goals. You're very intentional about the areas that you want to cover. Anyone who's really intentional about their growth and their healing really needs to really separate those areas. So I love that you did that to make sure that you've got yourself covered. And like you said, it's a continual journey. God's going to continue to reveal things to you, like you did with those rewords. I'm sure you're a journal. You journal a lot, right? And you're writing stuff down. And God's just like you said, you separated yourself and God was able to just do those downloads because he had your ear and that quietness.
Yeah. And you don't even realize how loud and noisy life is until
Mm-hmm.
you're removed from, because you got the mommy, I need this, mommy, I need that, and taking it to the there here and the taking it to there, and then you support trying to do the things your husband needs you to do and all the things. And then when you get over here in your own space, it's quiet. Like, it
Right.
freaked me out for a long time. It was scary that it was so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so important though. It was so
Yeah.
important. And in my healing journey, I want to make it very clear too, is that I did them separately. I didn't do them together. I
Mm-hmm.
did my spiritual piece first. Because
Yes.
a young lady by the name of Alicia Johnson, she reminded us that it's important to go in order in spiritual, mentally, and then physically, because if you're not spiritually healthy, you can't allow yourself to be able to work on your mental process. And then when you work on your mental state, it helps you have a healthier physical body. So you have to go in that order to ensure that you're going to get the outcomes and the results that you want for yourself. And that's exactly what I follow. And trust me, she didn't start at the beginning of my journey. I didn't meet her. I met her in the midst of, as a matter of fact, last year. But she came at the perfect time so I can make sure that I was approaching the second half of the two steps of my healing process to support me to be the most healthy person for me first. Because my goal now, my last step now is what I'm working on, is my businesses. Because if I'm not spiritually grounded, if I'm not mentally healthy, and I'm not physically healthy, I can't run healthy businesses. I can't pour and be a healthy consultant. I can't be a healthy college and career advisor. I can't be a healthy professor. And I darn sure can't be a healthy elected official if I wanted to run again. So I have
That's so
to
good.
do that. It's
Yeah.
required.
Yes.
So I tell people, they ask me some of the things of why I do my main word, because it's required, because all I got now is me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is so, so good. And much like myself, the spiritual came first. Because like you, I felt like if I wasn't spiritually aligned and reset myself first, that it was going to affect the mental. It was going to affect how I looked at things, right? And I wanted to be like you, very intentional in my faith and making sure that this new walk, this new season that I was going to be in was aligned, right? And that my heart was healthy, right? My mind was healthy spiritually, so that when I began, like you said, to attack these other areas, I was coming from a healthy heart place, right?
Mhm.
And so that I can have a healthy mental space and be able to see things with clarity and not be jaded, right? Because of my emotions and where I was. So, so good. And like you said, if you don't get yourself spiritually, mentally right, you really can't be productive in your businesses, and then how you now re-engage in these relationships. As you pull yourself away, now it's time to go back and re-engage in some of these relationships. If you don't have that foundation, then it's just all that's going to come tumbling down again, and you're going to have, bring more baggage into it than what you left with. So good, Kaj. Oh, this is good. Love it. Before we move on to the next topic that I want to talk about in our re-season, like me, you said you had one child. I had one child. How was your child affected by the divorce? And in that, what steps did you take to intentionally help her in this process of the healing journey? Because it affects our children too. Not only us, it affects our children. How did
Mhm.
you walk through that?
Hmm. Real talk.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna be very real. In the 4 years, I couldn't talk to her
Mm,
because I wasn't healed enough to know what to say to her.
so
Um,
good.
but the thing I will be honest about, the one thing that my daughter is strong up here, thank God,
Yes.
However, that does not mean she wasn't hurt. Let's be clear on that.
Mhm.
Um, but I will say is I wasn't healthy enough to know how to help her.
Mm,
So I did. That's why I was intentional about my work. But the
yes.
only thing that I held strong on is because thank God she was old. She's older
Right.
and
Right.
not younger. So I
Right.
was leaning. I was trying to tell God. I said, "No, just if you can, just
Cover her.
hold on to her just a little while longer until
Yes.
I get what I need to be able to help." And God blessed me when I tell you again. I
Mm,
just so happened to meet another woman.
mm,
And I was telling her about what I was dealing with. What she said, I got it. I want you to go to my therapist. I went to her therapist, and this is how the world works, and the God universe, whoever you serve, works. Is I log on to my first therapy session. Lo and behold, why is the same young lady that I knew when our girls was little in the ballet and doing the dance? We were
wow.
the same. I never knew that she did that type of work.
Mm,
And she became my therapist, and she's been my therapist, and I see her on a regular basis, and she has been a blessing to me.
mm,
So much so that now she because therapy, I'm a type of person, I need visual and I need tools. So it started out, she was talking back and forth to me, I was listening and it sounded real good, and she was making me nervous because she was calling my card and all the things. But anyway, I say all that to say is that she finally gave me this tool. It's
mm,
about feelings. And when she walked it through, so to help me deal with how I was feeling about all the things, it wasn't just about my divorce. It was the loss of my mom. It was the loss of my auntie. It was watching my uncle take his last breath. You name it, it was something other than just a divorce. And then not knowing my dad, I was back and forth for wanting to do this DNA test because somebody said that they think, like, all the things. But that feelings chart helped me understand things at so much a different level, is to acknowledge when your mind is playing tricks on you and when things are really, really what they are. And when I saw the impact that it was making on me, I used that tool with my daughter. I invited her over. We sat at the table because I can feel the energy, because she was feeling some kind of way, but I think she just didn't know what to say and how to say it. I said, but we're going to use this tool. And again, my big post-it notes, because that's the educator in me. I put a big post-it note on the wall. And so the first column is feelings. The middle column is Do you have evidence or do you not have evidence? And the third column is what do you do once you identify the two? So we walked through it, and I said, I let her say, what do I do to make you feel a certain way, vice versa. So we went through that, and can I tell you, I lied to you not. My daughter now has since then, and that's been months ago, like at least 6 months ago, she brings her friends and say, "Mom, can you show them? Can you talk them to so they can because they need some help." So it's just, and I use it for my students at school. It's something so small, but it's so impactful. And it has changed my life because sometimes you feeling upset at somebody and that wasn't their intention, but now on my journey I allow myself to bring it up because I've never been able to use my voice the way that I would hope I could. So now I get to use my voice in a way where I can be heard, and I can say, this is how you make me feel, or this is how it made me feel. These are my feelings. I may be feeling something that may not be right. I just want to know, did I receive this correctly or not? And so now in my relationships, I
Mhm.
use it, and it's been helpful to me in so many ways, that has even, like I said, blessed me and my daughter's communication. So
Yeah,
that's how I was able to get, and that just happened. And we've already been in this for 3 years already. So we're just getting into how I'm helping her. It just started.
that's so beautiful. So beautiful. Awesome. Let's talk about the next ring, rediscovering who you are. For me, coming out of divorce, I really took time to try to take a look at Kim, right? Because I felt like up until that point, it really was, I was somewhat of what we call now a people pleaser. It was doing what I thought my parents wanted me to do,
Mm,
being who I thought the love interest in my life at that point, and when I got married, what they needed me to be and who they wanted me to be. I really didn't take time to say, who am I, right? And as a result of coming out of the divorce, the things that I learned about myself, to say, hey, who I was when I went in is not who I am now coming on out on this other side. And as I move forward, I want to take a real look in the mirror and be honest with myself about what I want and
mm,
who I want to become, right? As we move forward, right? So coming out of the healing journey, it kind of opened my eyes to some things. One of the other emotions that I dealt with was abandonment issues, right? Kind of like you said, you
mm,
went through therapy, not just the abandonment of the divorce, but I had daddy abandonment issues that are also affected the relationship. And so I had to heal through that and say, oh, well, over here you were showing up as that because of the daddy abandonment issues. And now that we've done healed from that, who is Kim now? Right? So
mm.
that rediscovering journey, what did that look like for you? Um,
I'm still working on it.
of course, we
still,
all are
still,
still working on it.
still discovering. I will say I like who I am better now. I will say,
Mm,
you know, um, mm, because I'm clearer. I've had opportunity to be more clear on, get all the clutter out. So all the Trump, the daddy issues, the not never ever knowing who he's gonna be, going through thinking that I finally found who he was, where his brother, at least who his brother was, and his brother ended up having to do some DNA, only to find out on my daughter's birthday that that was not it either. So I got rejected again, or denied again, of my hopes of being able to be a part of a family that I thought I was going to be a part of, and my daughter was going to be able to be a part of, and that was issue. Um, and mm, so losing my auntie was my my everything. Her and my uncle was my everything. You know, losing them. So not having my foundation, I'm having to build my own foundation. So I'm trying to be very careful, you know, even in my home, like where I live right now, right here. I don't allow people in my space. You know, I'm very intentional. If you're invited here, that means a whole lot. You know, it means a whole lot because I want to be careful of the energy that I draw, you know, and into my space. Um, I want to protect it because I have gone through the process and the journeys of therapy and the grief counseling to you know to let it all go. So if it's gone, I don't want anything to distract me from being. So I'm not even close of knowing what it is, but I'm close now to know that I'm ready to. I think it's going to require me to move. I have to move now because I've been still. So, in order for me to really understand what that looks like, this has been my season of relaunching my businesses again, being intentional of those which ones I really want to relaunch and what do I want that to look like. I'm a servant. I love to serve people. So that part of me will never change. The beauty of it now, and I don't think she is still the same vessel, a little different, but she's still going to be a servant. But now because she's done the work and she's healed in those areas, she can pour from a healthy vessel versus an unhealthy vessel. And the one thing that I don't ever, and that's the thing that I talk to God about, is the one thing that I don't want to do, which I was ignorant to before. I was just serving because I was more serving just to deal, not having to deal with the stuff that I was carrying. But now that I've dealt with the stuff, the people that I'm assigned to, that I'm assigned to. I'm not assigned to everybody. Before I was serving everybody, but now I'm intentional about listening to what comes to me. If it's mine and I feel like God is saying this is yours, I will serve that because that's my assignment. But
Yeah.
anything outside of that, I'm setting boundaries. If it's not for me, or if I just don't feel like it, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure this time because well, I'm on the other side of 50. You know, I'm halfway to 100, you know. So I just want to make sure on this side that when I pour in such a healthy way that that person that I'm pouring is truly going to benefit from what I have to offer and the reason why God assigned them to me. That's my ultimate goal. Defining who that is and how she is, I don't have no definition for it. I just want to be intentional and I'm not trying to plan it. I don't want to put it in writing. I just want it to flow organically. And so when I do it, and whoever I serve, whether it's business or personal, will know genuinely that I and feel it genuinely because I'm doing it in such a different way than I've ever done it before.
Yeah, that's so good. So good. We've kind of already touched about a little bit about how you're going about rebuilding this new life and this re-season, right? You talked about the health journey.
Mhm.
You talked about, just you stepping out in a healed place now. So, are this new woman coming from this new healed place. And so you are now approaching things differently, being very intentional, being very protective of your space, your peace, and your energy. That's so
Mhm.
important. Um, so all of that, I believe, is a part of you rebuilding your life. But as we're talking about to those who may be watching, um, I love to have the real conversation about were there doubts, right? Coming out of divorce, was there doubts that, oh my God, am I, like you said, you kind of, like I said, already said it about how am I going to rebuild? What is this new life going to look like? Anything you can add to what you've already said, and how did you kind of continue to push through those doubts and fears? Because, like you said, you're still, the fear is still there, it's just not as big,
Yes. The
right?
doubt has
Movement you have.
definitely, Yeah, doubt is real. Like it was really real. Doubt was really real when I was eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Doubt is real. I'm gonna tell on myself, and y'all figure out how country I am from North Carolina. Is eating liverwurst sandwiches. Going back to old school in the projects, living with my grandma. Doubt is just having water in here. Doubt is like, how will I get through? How can I? My daughter was graduating from high school. Doubt is, now I'm not going to be able to help her, achieve her like everything that could go through my mind, but only but God. Only but God. I found a way, but even through that, my daughter showed up without even not it didn't have anything to do with what we were going through. She just decided that she wanted to take a different route. Take a different route. So she took a different route, and lo and behold, I just made the last payment for her last route, and she is debt free. So doubt was heavy, because I didn't know because the world that we live in today. I live in an apartment. You guys know what it costs to be in the same cost I paid for my home mortgage is way same thing I'm paying for here um in an apartment. And I work for the school system. They don't pay well, but I love what I do. It was different before because I had, when you have a partner, you can you can balance things a little bit better. But now I have to figure out how to balance that little small income. So I had to really start getting stronger mentally so I can really figure out how to navigate this financial challenge that everybody's going through. So I added real estate as an opportunity to help me kind of come out my doubt, or at least just have that as a backup plan. So it's there, even though if I don't get a client, a client's gonna come just like all the other things have come. So I just put that in place. But doubt is real, and doubt is always the big doubt right now is, as much as people want to say is, I don't ever want to do this again. I love, let's be real.
Yes, that part. That part.
I'm a Capricorn. If you don't know a Capricorn, we loyal. Like, we don't have to go through a whole lot of people to figure out. If we find the person that is giving us the right energy, and they show that they serious and they got our back and we got your back, we ain't going nowhere. So, I just, that's the only thing. If I want to be honest, I fear of not being able to find that person, to get to meet this person.
Yeah.
Now, oh my God, I thought I was gonna get through this.
But let me speak into you a moment, my sister. This new you, this healed you, is going to attract a different type of person.
Mm,
And so, out of all these billions and billions and billions of people on the earth, you are going to connect. Keep sending out those good vibrations, that good energy. Keep working on yourself. And God, just like you've been trusting through God and standing on your faith where you started spiritually,
mhm.
God has been delivering you every step of the way. He has been guiding you every step of the way. He's not going to stop now. If he's been working in this area, that area, this area of your life, he's definitely going to be working in the love area of your life.
Yeah.
Just keep surrendering to him. It's going to happen, and it's going to be so much more beautiful, right? With the new healed God. That what that person is going to attract now that you have dealt with that. Oh my God, God's gonna blow your mind. God's gonna blow your mind. And I just want an invitation, okay? I'm an invitation
Uh-oh.
to the person. I'm saying it now. So
Oh
I'm
my
speaking that
God.
into existence. So
Oh my
I'm
God.
excited for you. I'm
Yeah.
excited for you.
I just feel the one thing I do want to say is, I just want to encourage, as a divorcee now, and as well, like you, I mean, you shared that it's been twice for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't even think in my mind, because I've only been married once, but I just think we should be encouraged and focus on the things that kind of we've been talking about. As long as if you're doing the work, don't let a previous a relationship hinder you from being or finding love or being happy or a partner or whatever case may be. As we're in a world where, once we go through it, nobody wants to do it again.
Right.
But doing it again doesn't necessarily, in my mind, doesn't have to be marriage. Possibly, it's just finding somebody to do life with,
Yeah.
But don't deny yourself or don't be so harbor so much negativity that you
Yes.
block yourself from receiving love that you deserve,
Yeah.
because God made men and women to connect for those
Yeah.
reasons, to
Yeah.
love and support and build each other
Yeah.
up, not to separate and you do what you want to do and they do what they want to do. Like, we are there to lift and serve and support in ways that we don't really understand how we can impact each other's life in such a way. If we were my famous saying, just for anything, we're just better together, you know.
Yes. That part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I just,
You
I
notice a
I
compliment to
pray
each
that
other.
day will come
Yeah.
again, maybe. But on the journey right there, I'm just enjoying and I'm being intentional. And when God says move with that, I'll have to listen.
I say this, Taj. I'm walking by faith, and I'm gonna die believing. And maybe I'll die and it won't happen, but I'm walking as if it's going to happen. And
Okay.
so again, you know what I'm saying? I have to walk in that energy and that positiveness because I know with God all things are possible and God wants my good. And I believe that marriage is good. God created it, therefore it has to be good. And like you said, he's got a divine plan. He knows how it works best. He saw Adam in the garden and said, "It's not good for you to be alone. You need a helpmate." So again, he meant for us to come together. There are some that he didn't mean to come together, but they are the minority. They are not the majority.
Yes.
So I stick with that. And so I know there's a possibility that maybe, okay, two times and maybe you're not going to have a third time. But I focus on and walk as if it's
Oh
going to be.
yeah.
I walk in faith.
You have to believe it though. Like, what good is it if you're gonna keep saying, "Well, I don't think it's gonna happen. I already did
And it's
teach
not.
that," and then but because that's going back. Like, if we're gonna be over here, we got to do it different. If we want different, we have to do different, right?
Exactly.
And there's power in I've learned on this journey. There's power in believing.
Yes.
There's power in being present in your moments by yourself,
Yes.
and it's power in being present around other people. If you want to be with certain, you want certain people around you or to be in your space, you got to exude that type of energy so they can feel like you want them to be a part of your life, not
Right.
that you don't want, because in your mind you say, I want them, but your body is saying something different. So you
Exactly.
have to figure that thing out. And that's one thing I had to learn too, because I've always been a stern, because I'm a stern type of person, like, and a leader, and do this and do this. So I try to work because I got that face that say talk.
Yes.
So that's the thing that I've been trying to work on, because I'm just serious about my business when I'm out there. But it's not that I don't want to be around you and I don't want to, but I'm
Right.
just like, it depends on my element of where I am. And then I'm
Yeah.
just not open to just everybody being around me either, because everybody's energy is not healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. This next reigniting your passion and your purpose. And you've already touched upon it a little bit. Coming through this, you're at this stage now about really focusing in on your businesses, right? Your purpose and being intentional and how to go about it now, what
Mhm.
to let go, what to stay, and what direction to move in. But you've already mentioned one new one, right? Real estate. Talk a little bit about reigniting your purpose and your passion on the other side of divorce.
Yeah. To be honest, I real estate has always been something that I've had in the back of my mind that I was interested in doing. But as you know, we do. We're always scared to do stuff. But as I was, in my, I call it my desperate season, I had to do something. So I took advantage of taking the class and going through the process, and of course took the test 100 different times. Upset, maybe this not for me, maybe this not for me. But once I, got on the other side of doing all my therapy and the healing, and I went to go take this. As a matter of fact, the same week my daughter went to take her licensing exam, she got her license that Monday. I wait and I said, wait, I said, you need to rub off on me. Literally, I lie to you guys not. I go on Friday and I passed the test. So my baby gave me some good vibes. And I passed that test. But as it relates to all the other things that I did before is my nonprofit, I'm Breathing Life, because God told me I can't give up on the babies. So I'm relaunching a new initiative for my nonprofit, Phenomenal Young Women. It's called Beyond Book Bag Ready, because we're always focusing on school supplies, and kids need way more than school supplies to be healthy and successful during the school year. So I'm launching that. I've already launched it, and so I have people donating gift cards, obviously money, so I can make sure, like, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm getting a little girl's hair done, so she can be ready to go back to school. And there's two kids that needs clothes for going back to school. So I'm looking forward. Those are the things that I love to do that matter to those that need it the most. And then my consulting company, I'm launching educational services. So I'm going to be doing sending proposals out to school districts so I can teach professional development to CTE instructors and counselors on how to align um, their classes that they take with their plan of what they're going to be transitioning into out into the real world. So, I'm not doing anything. I'm just being more intentional how I do those things and how often I do those things and who I do those with and who really need my services. Because I don't have to serve everybody, but I just want to make sure I touch the ones that really need it. So that's what that's what I'm trying to do for myself to maintain and take care of myself. And I pray that I'm looking forward to real estate. Anybody that's looking to buy, rent, or own, that would be me.
Yes.
But to be, just so you guys know, my goal for myself is to buy my first home for myself. So I'm looking forward to that. So if you have a realtor like me, if I'm looking for a home for myself, I'm going to take care of you, because it's so meaningful to me to find my first home wherever that's going to be. It might be in a new state. It might be a new part of Maryland. I don't know. Whatever God says, that's what I'm going to do.
That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah,
Wonderful. That you know that you still have purpose and passion, even coming out of everything that you've come out with, right? And even in
because
your healing journey.
God
Yeah,
reminds me all the time. As much as I doubted myself, I've doubted myself a lot. Like the doubt, but He
it
keeps
affects your self-esteem, right?
Yeah, he keeps telling me he took PYW. You better not get rid of it, because I was like, I'm not renewing. I'm not doing. You are, and every time I get a phone call, like the lady calling about she want to do this, and they always call, "Are you a shelter?" No, I'm not a shelter, but I can give you it. So those are signs where he said, "No, people need you."
Yeah.
So
Well, let's pause for the cause. If they want to donate, as you're helping kids get ready to go back to school, if someone wants to donate, how can they do that?
they can phenomenal the dollar sign for Cash App, Phenomenal Young Women. The whole word is long, sorry. And the same thing for Zelle, PYW Maryland at gmail.com.
Okay.
Zelle, or they can contact me at 240-416-8880. And we can meet up and donate some gift cards. However, but every dollar, let's be clear, every dollar goes to kids that need it. I'm not that nonprofit that just go out there and do a book bag drive or a supply drive and just give it to anybody. I'm going directly to the we call them PPWs in school, though they work closely with the underserved population, so I make sure they get it. I go to DSS to make sure those kids get it. So I'm going to know and be aware that those are kids in need, and I'm going to make sure they get it first. And obviously, just because they are following a particular category, we know that sometimes even regular people in regular homes are in need. Then I'll go approach them and make sure that they get what they need as well. Because sometimes we can be in these $1 million homes and $500,000 homes and still need
Mm-hmm.
things, and it's okay, especially in
Absolutely.
the in the world that we live in right now.
Right. We all
That's
go
how they
through
can
different
support.
seasons. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, as we wrap up tonight, you said in your bio you're really intentional about stepping boldly into the next chapter. What gems do you have for that woman who's looking to have reclaim her power and step boldly into the future?
My advice is to invest in the things like I had to invest this go round in coaching
Mm-hmm.
for my health.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to invest money, like stop buying shoes right now. Don't be buying unnecessary stuff. Uh, the going out to Starbucks and eating out, through the journey of me getting my health in control. And now I had a successful doctor's visit 2 weeks ago. Investing in such a way where now I don't have to go out to eat if I don't want to, because I'm prepping on Sundays and eating throughout the week on the things that I need, because I invested in a coach that helped me manage in a way that now my health is in order. I invested in an opportunity to pour into my business, where I'm in this academy that's going to help me lift my educational services and my business. Um, so stop saying you can't do it because you're doing all the other things. I believe I was listening. Oh, I think it was Dr. Lynn Richardson I was listening to the other day, and she's like, she saw all these people at the Beyonce and the Chris Brown concerts, and that's a lot of money. If you can invest that much money in a concert of somebody that somebody else's life, you need to stop that and start investing that same money in your own life, because it'll make all the difference in the world. It will make all the difference. It's been a blessing to me to invest the things that I've invested in, and being intentional about following the lead.
Therapy.
Oh yeah, and therapy. Yes, therapy is a twice a month thing now. It was more frequently, and be honest. Don't just do it once in a while, because it's not effective. If it's once in a while, you got to start out and be consistent. Don't be afraid. Face it. Just face it head on. When I started this journey and I started that grief counseling, I literally was ambushed by all kinds of grief. Grief so much so, I will share with you all this, that I was running so much and serving other people that I completely realized that I never grieved the baby that we lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my wake up moment. I'm like, no. So this was perfect timing, because I needed to, not only that, I hadn't grieved all the people. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to slow down and be still for yourself, not for nobody else. Even
Yeah.
if you're in a relationship, make your relationship. I encourage you to stay, stay. Just
Yeah.
be present enough and be honest enough to hear each other. If you can hear each other long enough, and um tap into that feelings and see if what you're really thinking about that. Ask. I may have received it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Things that, I will admit, things that I'm learning now. If I would have had what I had then, maybe we could have fixed some things. But I just know that I have tools now that I can apply differently if someone else was to come into my life.
So good. So good. My sister, I can't thank you enough for your yes and coming on here tonight. You have blessed me most definitely. I am so encouraged about the journey that you're on, and all that you are imparting, all of where God is taking you. So, again, I just pray that God will continue to bless everything that you put your hands to, including yourself, as we lay hands on ourselves.
Yes.
Um, and I'm just so excited. If people want to stay connected to you, I know phenomenal young women, how can they stay connected to you?
Um, I'm I am now. I have, because Facebook is horrible with locking you out and messing up your pages. I'm now Tajala Battle on
Hmm.
Facebook.
Okay.
Um, and Instagram, I am Taj Consulting Events. And PYW is on Instagram. PY Phenomenal Young Women is on Facebook. So any avenue you'll find me either way, because the phone numbers are all connected. I'm one phone number for all the organizations that I'm involved in to make it easier to find me. So
Right.
I'm here ready to serve and support as much as I can. Looking forward to new opportunities, new partnerships, and continue to be a part with my real women supporting me. Thank you for the ask. It was huge for me, and I thank God when you asked, I was ready.
Yes.
Yes,
All in divine timing. All in
yes,
divine timing.
yeah.
Bless you, my sister.
Thank you.
Again, audience, I hope you were blessed. We're going to make sure that we get Taj's contact information and how, if you want to be a blessing to her nonprofit, we're going to put that information in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. All right, take care. We'll see you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock for the next installment of Becoming Life After Divorce. Good night.
Good night.